Today's lesson is 18.7, Models for Subtracting with 3-Digit Numbers. Please put your name and number at the very top, then cross off the front page. Go ahead and turn to the middle. Look at the top at the visual bridge. The first box says, use models to find 328 minus 133. So if you look at the models that have the flats, the rods, and the ones, you will notice that it starts with 328. Now if you move on to the second box, it says the first step is to subtract the ones. So 8 ones minus 3 ones equals 5 ones. And you can see using the models that they have crossed off 3 of those ones. If you go to the third box at the top, the next step says regroup 100 as 10 ones. If you look at the models, you'll notice that they were trying to subtract 2 tens minus 3 tens, and there was not enough. So they went over to the hundreds, that faded flat, which is 100. They've broken it into 10 groups of 10 because 10 tens make 100. So now they've placed those 10 tens over here. So if you look at their regrouping boxes, the 2 tens have now turned into 12 tens because the 2 is still there, and then they made 10 more to make it 12. When you look at the 100, they crossed that off, and now it is 1 less because they took one of the hundreds and broke it into 10 tens. So now there is 1 less, which is 2 tens. If you go to the third or the fourth box, it says subtract the tens and the 100s. So 328 minus 133 equals 195. When they subtracted the 133, if you look at the models, they've crossed off 1 of the 100s, 3 of the 10s, and 3 of the 1s. And they were left with 195. Now go down to guided practice. Use models and your work mat. Subtract. Regroup if needed. So the first one is completed for us. If we go to the next box, it says 364 minus 127. If I look at the ones, because that is my first step, I notice that 4 ones cannot subtract 7 ones. If there's more on the floor, go next door and grab 10 more. So I'm going to cross off the 6 tens and turn it into 5 tens. And the 4 ones, I'm going to cross off, and I'm going to give it 10 ones. So 10 ones and the 4 ones equals 14. Now I can subtract 14 ones minus 7 equals 7. I know that because 7 plus 7 equals 14. Now moving on to the tens. 5 tens subtract or minus 2 tens is 3 tens, which stands for 30. Now I can move to my last step, which is the hundreds. 300 minus 100 equals 200. Now move on to the next box. If I subtract the ones, I have 6 ones minus 1 1, and that will leave me with 5 ones. So I will put a 5 down below. If I go to the tens, now it's saying I have 4 tens minus 7 tens. I cannot do that because there's more on the floor. Go next door, and I'm going to grab 10 more by breaking 100 into 10 tens. So I'm going to cross off my 5, and I'm going to put a 4 at the top. Then I'm going to give those 10 tens to the 4 tens, and 10 plus 4 is 14. So I'm going to put 14 at the top. Now cross off the 4 because now there's 14. You can subtract 7, which is 7, because that's a double fact. 7 plus 7 equals 14. 14 minus 7 equals 7. Now, last step, subtract your hundreds. I have 4 hundreds minus 2 hundreds, and 4 minus 2 equals 2. So the answer is 275. If you feel comfortable moving on, you can move on. If you feel like you need to use some models or work with the teacher, raise your hand, and we will work together on the last 3. If you're comfortable and you can work on your own, we are going to have you move to the independent practice. You will solve numbers 3, numbers 4, the same way that we did the first 2. Push pause so you have some time to work. When you are finished with 3 and 4, go ahead and push play again so you can move to number 5. All right, number 5, algebra. Find the missing numbers. How are these exercises related? 7 minus 4 equals 6 minus 5 equals, then the next part says blank plus 4 will equal 7 and blank plus 5 will equal 6. Once you solve, think about how those are related. Go ahead and push pause. When you're ready, you can push play again and turn to the back. Problem solving. Solve the problems below. Number 6. Jeff has 517 baseball cards. He has 263 football cards. How many more baseball cards than football cards does he have? You will subtract 517 minus 263. Write it off to the side in the hundreds, tens, and ones. Then whatever your answer is, after you've compared, you will write the answer on the line. Push pause so you have some time to work. When you are ready, push play. Number 7. There were 342 adults at the movie. There were 526 children at the movie. How many more children than adults were at the movie? When I look at the problem, keep in mind if you're comparing, you will subtract 526 minus 342. Please write your work off to the side. Once you figure out the answer, go ahead and fill in A, B, C, or D. Go ahead and push pause when you are ready to move on. You can push play for number 8. All right, number 8, journal. Choose a number between 330 and 336. Then you will subtract 180 from your number that you chose. Draw place value models to show the difference. So in the box below, whatever number you choose, you will subtract 180, show it with numbers, and show it with models. So with a picture. Remember, the squares are hundreds, the tens are rods, and the ones are a circle or a dot. Go ahead and choose the number between 330 and 336. Subtract 180 from your number. Draw place value models to show the difference. When you complete your work for the journal, go ahead and add it to your seesaw reflection. After the seesaw reflection, then turn in your work.